Oh, just checking. We are live from what I can see. Okay. Hi, everyone. Long time no see. It's been so long since I went on live. But I am here now and I'm here with a guest. I'll introduce her in a little bit. Let me just wait for you to come through and come in. So if anybody is watching this, please let me know in the comment here in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly before I start talking. So yeah, I can see people are joining. I just need you to write. Oh, I see someone. Hey Dawn. How are you? Can you hear me and see me clearly before I invite my guest here? Let me know. How you been? How are you? Let me know. I'll give you okay. One. One is what? One is you can hear me. Hi, Muhammad. I'm just gonna assume that you guys can hear me. Hi, Holly. Hi, Godspeed. President. Nope. Shaka wrote, "What are your thoughts on the Empire of Ethiopia and Haile Selassie?" Maybe that topic we can talk about in the near future, maybe next week. Today, I have a guest for you guys, and I'm gonna put her on. But before that, I want you to tell me that you can hear me and see me. 1 and 2 are universal. Yes and no. Thanks, Dawn. Well, I did not know that. So 1 is yes. So yes. Okay. We can invite our guest. Thank you guys for joining in such a short notice. I appreciate you. Let me add our guest. There's Eileen. Hi. I love your neck.
Hi.
I love your
Thank
neck.
you. Trademark.
I
It's our
love it.
trademark.
True, and it's so big. I have a few, but they're like this big. Yours is like you can't miss it. It's right there.
No, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Yeah,
Love
yeah,
that. That is really
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think I'm not. I don't know
So
if I'm being biased, but the Africa, like the map, the continent, it's so beautiful, right? The shape. I love
yeah.
it compared to
Mm.
other shapeless looking. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah. So welcome, Eileen. Uh,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Wangel. Thank you for having me.
my pleasure.
I really appreciate to be here. I'm very grateful. Yeah.
Thank you for coming. So when you emailed me, you said there are a few things that you want us to talk about, and
Yes.
I will give you the time and the space to talk to our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
But I also want to first, and all of us, not just me, because this is the first time we're having a conversation face to
Yes.
face. We've
Yes.
interacted online. So, who is Eileen? Tell us.
Um, Eileen is a Kenyan, and I've been living in South Africa, Johannesburg, for long. I went to school in South Africa, and then I'm here. I'm here in Kenya right now. I'm in Nairobi, and I just wanted us to speak about some issues. You know, the xenophobia issues in South Africa and how it started and what is the cost, because I've been living in South Africa for quite a very long time. So I just wanted to clear the whole issues, because there's a lot of issues and, you know, miscommunication that has gone around, you know, about South Africans. And I feel very bad because I want to clear that. Yeah. I want to, you know, I would like to speak about it and make the whole thing to be understood and to be communicated clearly. Yeah.
Great. Like, we would like to hear different perspectives. I say this all the time. No, seriously,
Yeah.
because my experience might not be your experience, right? And also,
Yeah.
you've lived
Yeah.
there, you've been around, South Africans, and I understand right now, especially after Chidima, there was a lot of
Okay.
conversation.
Yay. Yes, especially after Chidima. So you know what, Wongel, and
And
to
I
all
want to
the
say this
viewers.
before we start. Sorry, Eileen. I have
Yeah.
South African friends, I have South African colleagues, and I'll from my experience, I have nothing but good things to say about the experiences I've had. I've been to South Africa once, and I have
Mm,
only good things to say. But
mm,
that doesn't mean that other people don't experience different, different things, different situations, different circumstances. I was never there to be a refugee, so I don't have that kind of information as well. So I would love to hear from your perspective, because you said you feel strongly about this topic and you want to discuss it. I want to give you the floor, but I also
yes.
want to that, like, there no hate here, all love,
No
okay? And even
hate.
if, yeah,
It's
there's
all
any
love. Yeah.
negative, like, that might seem like it's a negative thing, it's not about that. This is about to have a conversation and to fix things if they need to be fixed, and to address things that need to be addressed. That's it, okay? Just
Yeah. Yeah.
keep that in mind. Now go on.
Okay. Okay, you know what, Wongel? I'll go back to the drawing board. Okay, and I want people to understand this. You see, when I went to South Africa, there it was just after independence, and South Africa it's a very beautiful country. South Africa is my second home. As a Kenyan, South Africa is my second home. I love, 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 love South Africa and South Africans as well. They are very, very nice people. I have lived with them. They have taken care of me. They are my family. And I feel so bad about all the, stories going around, xenophobia and all these things and hate. I don't like it. South Africans are very good people, very friendly people. You see, South Africa, um, when the borders opened and everybody, was flocking in, and before there was no crime in South Africa. Believe you me, I've been there, I've lived there. There was no
Sorry,
crime in South Africa.
when were you there? Just for the story.
Um, I went to South
I-
Africa in 2000. Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you. 2000.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yep.
year
Okay.
2000. And
Mhm.
there was no crime. And it is the system works. Everything is, South Africa is the land of milk and honey. That is how I call it. It's the city of gold for everybody. And South Africans are very welcoming, and everybody went down to South Africa, and with a lot of concerns. South Africans have raised so many concerns over the years. A lot of things started happening, crime started coming in, and before there was no crime. You understand? It's not like it's something that was there before. No, there was nothing like hijackings and all these things. So after the borders were opened, everything, after the government, got independence, and all these things, people coming in the country, they came in with so many things. So many things started to happen. There's crime on the streets, there's drugs on the streets, there's fraud, and all these things, they started to happen. And, you know, and South Africans were very welcoming, very nice people. I've lived with them. I know them. I feel so bad when people talk about that, because they just raised concerns that no, 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 this is happening, and we know it's happening, and we know who is bringing all these things inside. It's not South Africans. South Africans, they don't commit crime. That is something that people need to understand. You understand? South Africans, they don't hijack. They don't do hijacking. South Africans, they don't sell drugs, and these drugs are being sold to their children. It's people who come in the country and they come in with all these things. You understand? So they raise these concerns, and then it was too much. Everything started to escalate slowly by slowly, slowly by slowly. You understand? And, you know, in short, what I can say is that foreigners in South Africa, they abused the generosity of South Africans. I can literally call it abusing, because there's no country you can live with freedom like South Africa. It's a free country and everybody enjoys, legal or illegal. There are so many illegal foreigners in South Africa and they just walk up and down. And then what happens? There's a lot of crime. You understand? And these are the issues they're raising, that yay, we can't, we need to clear the streets because there's a lot of crime on the streets right now. And they just raised concerns, and they said, no, we need to fix this issue. And then after being saying that they want to fix this issue of people all around doing anything, you understand, all this, there's a lot of fraud and there's a lot of, hijacking, there's a lot of guns on the streets, there's a lot of drugs, the kids, they're all on drugs. So when they raise all these concerns and then it comes to it's xenophobia, it's not xenophobia, they just raised issues and concerns about their country. They're not xenophobic. No, they welcomed everybody. I've got actually my best friends, they are South Africans. They come to Kenya, they visit me, they come to Nairobi, they stay at my place, and they are South Africans. They're not xenophobic. They don't hate anyone, and I don't think there's any country which will allow, that whatever is happening in South Africa, nothing like that can happen in other countries. So we just need to listen and obey, and if people raise concerns, we need to listen to what they are saying and do that what they are saying. Yeah. So I stand with them. They're not xenophobic. I'm very much against that. They're just raising issues and concerns that on the streets now the kids are on drugs, and who is bringing the drugs in the country, because there were no drugs before. Those are the concerns they've raised. Yeah.
This is a
So
perspective we hear a lot, so that's why I'm listening, especially because you're
yes,
not.
people need to understand.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that it's not just a small thing, it's a huge thing. It's a huge crisis in the country. It's a huge country huge crisis in South Africa. Kids are on drugs, there's a lot of crime in the streets, and there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of hijackings. And who is doing that? It's not South Africans. South Africans, they don't do that crime. They don't commit that crime. No, I stand that with them. They don't commit that crime. And all these things, they were brought to them. You understand? They accommodated everybody. They're very accommodative. They're very friendly people, very happy people, So all these things were brought to them. It's not them. So they raised issues, they raised concerns that, what, we're not happy about this and this and this. But you see, it's escalated. Yeah, because people feel they, people do anything they want to do. And when they raise those issues and concerns, they are told that they are xenophobic. No, they are not xenophobic.
Okay, so I'm actually I was just about to Google crime rates and in South Africa. I'll do that later. I'm more interested to hear from your perspective because you are Kenyan. You've lived
Yeah.
in South Africa for a long period of time,
Yes.
from what I understand, and
Yes.
you have experienced South Africans before maybe all the situation, everything that happened, as you said, the borders being open and um, there was a shift is what you're saying is that there was a shift that you've seen
Yes.
before and
Yes.
after, and you believe
Yes.
it's more like being protective or protecting themselves when they are
Yes.
saying no. But you can understand how it comes across, right? Like for people that were
Yes.
never there, for people that didn't experience maybe South Africans before that fact, and they're experiencing them now, and especially on social media, It's not just South
mm,
Africans. A lot of
mm,
people on social media are bold. Especially the ones that don't have their own, like, let's say, public name there. They won't put a picture
yeah.
there, and they just start something up, and you would think that
Mm,
everyone hates each other. That's how you. At least I feel like sometimes scrolling on social media, I'm like, I don't even know if we are salvageable. I don't even know if we're gonna come together anytime. So that's how I feel sometimes. So you are
mm,
sharing your experience from a Kenyan perspective, from someone that has been there for a long
mm.
time, and
And
for
and
someone
also
that
there's
has
something I
lived.
have to tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Sorry to cut you
Okay.
short. I just wanted to tell you that I've also been robbed in South Africa at gunpoint 5 times. 5 times I've been robbed, and
What?
yeah, at
That's
gunpoint. Yeah, since I was there. And the people who robbed me, yeah, let me be very clear about that. The people who robbed me, they were not South Africans. They're from the neighboring countries. They're not South Africans.
How do you
And
know?
this is what
Wait, let me ask this.
I know. I know. I
How do you
know by the
know?
way.
Because, like, yes, this, but like, all 5 times it was not a South African that did that. Like, how do you know? It's a valid question. How do you know?
I can't hear you.
How were you
Just
able to
repeat.
know?
To know what? I can't hear you. You're breaking. I can't hear you.
Oh, I got it. Can you hear me now? I don't know. Maybe it's my internet.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
What
can.
happened? Sorry, maybe it's my internet. In the chat, can anybody hear me? Or who can you hear? Eileen or Wenge? Just write in the comments so we can see what the problem is. What happened? It was working okay. Has just stood down. I don't even know what the problem is because for me it just shows me everything is okay.
Mm,
Um,
I can
yeah,
hear you
people are
clearly.
now saying they can't hear me. I don't. Now I'm back. Oh my goodness. Now I'm back or no? Should I just refresh it like a slow Wi-Fi? But it's not even Wi-Fi. Like this is data. So I don't.
Maybe
Sorry
the
guys.
network is
Sorry. I'll try to.
not.
Let me remove you and add myself and see if it makes a difference. Is it making any difference, fam? No. Sergey is saying you are loud and clear, so I don't even know what the problem is. I'm sorry, guys. Data is Wesley saying data is even worse. And Wesley, thank you. I saw your super chat. Thank you. I thought data would be better. That's why I bought bundles. But I don't know. Yeah, all good. Eileen, can you hear me now? Because people are
Yes,
saying
I
they
can.
can hear. I'm
Mm,
sorry. Like sometimes the network situation. Okay, so I was saying 5 times. That's crazy. But like, how do you know for
mm.
sure that all 5 times it was foreigners? Was what I was
I
asking.
know. Remember, I know you see, when you live in South Africa, you will differentiate South Africans and the neighboring countries, even if
Mhm.
they speak the language, even if they speak Zulu, or you see, Zulu, the Zulu language is spoken a lot in Johannesburg, because I was living in Johannesburg, and it is very similar also to Swahili. There's some words in Zulu which can correspond with Swahili. So the accent is different. Even if when you live in South Africa, you will differentiate the accent. You know how it is. You've lived in Kenya, the Swahili from Tanzania and the Swahili from Kenya, is the accent is different, the tone is it's the same thing. So with the neighboring countries, you will easily identify that this accent is not a South African accent, and you will easily identify them. You will know for real that these are not South Africans. So I know they were not South Africans, they were from the neighboring countries. And that is it is so horrifying. It is very horrifying. They were not South Africans. They don't commit crime. They don't commit that kind of crime, like with the no, no. So those are some of the concerns that the citizens have raised. The South Africans are raising every day. They're crying for that. But no, this is too much. They can't take it anymore. And once they say that, and there's a lot of crime on the streets, and people say, no, they are xenophobic, which is unfair. It's
Okay.
unfair. Yeah, it's unfair.
Yeah, I'm trying to I know someone, I actually even saw someone writing, so all South Africans are good people and none of them are criminals. I knew questions like that are gonna come, so I was trying to
Well,
do
of course, there
I
are those who are going to
show the person.
listen.
Yeah,
Of
because
course,
I
they are.
know, yeah, continue.
I know there'll come a backlash. Woo.
It comes with it, and you can't, it's a conversation, so it's okay. So
The
what
conversation. I know. You know what? Let me tell you something.
yeah,
I know questions like that will come, but there are those South Africans, of course. There's no country where nobody is not committing crime, but they don't commit those big crimes, like South Africans. They're not people who commit those big crimes. Like those big crimes, we all know, even people who live in Johannesburg, they know who commits those crimes. It's not South Africans. It's not South Africans. Even if they commit crime, it's petty crime, petty crime. And the worst thing is that many people, they lose their lives because of such crimes. And now you can't trace the people who have committed the crime, and that is what the South Africans are trying to fight. That because if majority of the people are illegal in the country, how are they going to trace people who are doing those crimes? They can't trace, because if you commit a crime and you just cross the border, then they won't know who is that, or you don't have any identification document. They're not going to know who did that. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
those are some of the concerns they have raised. Those are the concerns they have raised. And people don't understand. People want to say, oh, they're xenophobic and all that. No, they're not xenophobic. They're not xenophobic. South Africans are very friendly people, very jovial, bubbly, happy people. They're not xenophobic.
Okay, I hear you. And by the way, people, everyone that is, Eileen, give me a second. Give me a second. For everyone watching this, Eileen is sharing from her experience. Okay, this is not backed by data. This is backed by Eileen's experience in South Africa, living in South Africa. So she has a right to talk about her experience. Okay. So I was trying to do a quick Google, but I don't know why it's not giving me, like, I wanted percentage, at least according to the government of South Africa, what they have released, but it's really not giving me a clear indication. I will need more time to do my research on that.
Mm.
But according to Google, it says the South African government has indicated that crime data regarding foreigners is not always clearly defined or consistently reported. While some official reports might mention the involvement of foreign nationals in specific crimes categories, detailed percentages are often not available. In general, crime stats are compiled by the South African Police Service, but they tend to focus more on overall crime trends rather than breaking down the data by the nationality of offenders. For specific and updated figures, it's best to refer to official government publication, is what it's saying. Basically, what my Google search just now told me is that the government doesn't actually give you percentage, and it doesn't disclose the information as well. And for all of you that are watching, please, if you have your phone on you, just Google and tell us if you have more information. I'm on live right now, so I can't do all that. I'll do that once we're done. But it does it just they report on the crimes that happen. They don't actually say this was committed by non-South African, this was committed by South African. They
No,
actually
they,
don't give that information. Yeah,
yeah.
they just information. This was committed. This many people were arrested. This person was like that. So that's what I wanted to clarify. And Eileen wanted to come here and share her experience as a Kenyan that lived in South Africa, and how she experienced South Africans. She believes that they're not xenophobic, and that was not her experience. So I want to clarify that before, people get angry and say, "What do you mean?" And your experience is your experience, and that's Eileen's. We can't, you know base it on ours. But what I can admit to is, on social media, when I go to social media, what I see is a lot of hate thrown around, and it's disheartening. It makes me really sad. And for me, if anything, when I hear Eileen talk about, no, my experience was not like that, they were treating me well, there are good people out there, it gives me hope. It motivates me to do more for the unity of Africans instead of being discouraged. So look at it from a positive light. Don't look at it as if Eileen is picking and choosing a side. She just wants to share this word so we can start seeing each other like positively, instead of saying, oh, those ones, they don't like us, this ones, you get what I mean. So let's just
Yeah.
keep an open mind. You see someone saying, oh, she's Kenyan, I had no idea about that. Yeah, she is Kenyan. That's why she came here to explain to us what her experience was. Okay. That's what I'm clarifying. Okay, Eileen, you can continue.
Like to see those comments.
Well, I let me tell you, like, focus on what you want to say. It doesn't matter. Like, I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from,
Yeah.
I want to clarify, some South Africans are getting hate, and from my experience, they've been good to me. Same thing. If I hear Kenyans being
Mm.
dragged, like, I will stand up for Kenyans because I know how they've treated me. I know how good
Yep.
they've been to me. I know their kindness. I will feel the
Mm.
same way. So I understand where you're coming from. The reason why I was
Mm.
Googling is I also want us to base it with data. Like, when we say South
Mm.
Africans don't commit, we have to be careful. I mean, South Africans are human beings just like everybody else, but we also
Yes.
want to highlight your experience because it's important. I think it's going to help with unity, in my opinion. So, yeah.
It's true. And another thing is, you know what? You can't, people cannot go around, putting hate on South Africa. Let me tell you, South Africa is a very generous country. Very generous country, very generous people. And they give opportunity to everybody. If it is education, their schools, there's so many foreign nationals who go to school in South Africa and they benefit from that. You understand? We can't go around saying they're xenophobic, and after all they offer, they offer so much. They have offered so much. The country offers so much until the foreigners abused that generosity. You understand? Foreigners have abused the generosity, and the citizens feel, no, this is too much, because the education is good, the colleges are good, the varsities are good, and they don't discriminate anyone. No, they don't discriminate anyone. Huh? South Africa is among the countries in the world with human rights. So they don't discriminate anyone. So for us to, people to go there because they are being corrected and speak bad things which are not true, they just raised concerns and they want uh, one, two, three, four things issued and done properly, and the law to be installed, and they don't want people hanging up and down on the streets, then I don't know. I mean, anybody is I mean, even you can take. I mean, um, you can raise concerns in Ethiopia. You understand what I'm saying? If you're back at home, you can raise concerns when you're here in Kenya. You understand? And like you see how Kenya we are. South Africans are the same. They are friendly people. They welcomed everybody. And all these things started coming up. They're very friendly people, very nice people. Let me tell you something. You see, all they say legal and illegal immigrants in South Africa, nobody sleeps hungry. That is how good the country is. So why would you abuse such an opportunity? And this is issues that have been raising all the time. Why would you abuse a place which is taking care of you? You understand? You also need to take care of it. You get my point. You can, if you feel it's too much, like if you feel that you want to be there and they want you to be documented, follow the right channel. You understand what I'm saying? Follow the right channel, and things will be okay. We have to um, listen to people's concerns, and we have to respect people's countries and their policies and their rules and their what they expect someone to do. If you go to a foreign land, whatever they want you to do, you do that. You understand? You can fight back and say, and you want to live there, you need to be legal. Those are the rules everywhere in the world. You need to be legal in the country. So I feel so bad when people want to badmouth South Africa. South Africa is a very beautiful country. It's a very rich country. It has provided so much for everybody who is in that country. Yeah.
Okay, Eileen. Let me ask you a question, because it is going to be asked, I know for a fact. I
Yeah.
hear you on what you have said, and that is what you experienced, and it's beautiful to hear that South Africans were kind to you and you didn't feel like they were discriminating against you, and it's wonderful to hear. People have, when I say people, maybe Africans in general, or maybe outside of South Africa, and even the Black community, I would say, in America, in Britain, Caribbean, they look at, for example, they look at how they are welcoming to white South Africans, or they feel like they are more closer to them than other Africans. That's how it came off, at least with the Chidima thing, when she was scrutinized, and then a white lady won Miss South Africa. It was like, people are like, okay, why don't you keep the same energy to this lady? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh well, the Chidima story is actually, I mean, she had to follow if there were issues regarding her identity and the government was not satisfied with her identity and they had to investigate on that. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong
There's
with that. No,
nothing
no,
wrong with
it's
that.
not.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I
And
get it.
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people have to understand that South Africa also has got a lot of white people who've been there ever since 500 years. They've been in that country,
How were
and
they
they are
there?
citizens.
Why are they
They've been
there?
there for over 500 years. Yeah, they're there for 500 years, and that is their country. You understand? That is their country, and they've been there, and there's nothing wrong with the white lady winning. I didn't see anything wrong with that. And There was nothing wrong with that. And so the white community, that is their country. And I've never experienced any racism from them since I've been living there. I've got so many white friends. And South Africa has got also the colored community. I've got so many colored friends, you know, shout out to all of them. There's Asian community. I've got so many Asian friends, and they are all South Africans. And I
So I
never
ask
experienced
you this
anything
question.
wrong.
Ask you this question, Eileen. Sorry to cut you off. So you
Yes.
believe the white people or the Asians or whatever, like those people have more right to be in South Africa and they are South Africans, but a Zimbabwean going to South Africa, now he's an illegal person. He is a problem.
Well,
He's bringing problem.
listen to this. Listen to this. Every country has got their own rules and regulations everywhere in the world. You understand? If you're not a citizen of that country, of course they'll call you an immigrant. You get my point? Everywhere you go, even in let me not go far. Even here in Kenya, you understand? Don't look at South Africa alone. Even here in Kenya, when you come here, they tell you the same thing, right? If you're not born here, you're not a citizen, they'll tell you you're a foreigner. You understand? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even in Ethiopia, when I come to Ethiopia, they'll tell me I'm a foreigner. I can't say I'm a black person, I'm going to Ethiopia. Even in Uganda, even in Tanzania, everywhere you go, every country has got its own rules. You understand? Even in that Zimbabwe, when you go to Zimbabwe, they tell you when you go to Zambia, you can't stay in Zambia. They arrest you. You understand? They give you days to stay. After that, they tell you, no, 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 no. Your days for staying here are finished. So every country has got its own rules and regulations, which as a visitor you need to follow and you need to obey. It's not only South Africa that they say about illegal immigrants, it's all over.
I agree with that. I agree you need to be legal. You need, like, when I go visit a country, even me, I apply for the visa. I want to go there legally.
Yes,
I understand that
yes,
fact anywhere in the world. That is true.
yes,
The thing
yes.
is, it looks like what people are saying is that it looks like there's double standards. Diff- there's different ways of treating different people, different skin tones, or from like almost like other Africans are seen in such a negative light, but the people that have colonized and enslaved and hurt those people and took like about 80%, isn't that what the data shows? 80% of the wealth is with the minority, which is the white people in South Africa. So when we're talking about, but them, they're South Africans, but this others, they are not South Africans. I get it legally what you're trying to say, but at the same
Mm,
time, people have an issue of looking at this and understanding it, because yes, if you're fighting for your country, let's make it overall. Let's remove inequality. Let's remove the wealth gap that is there, that this specific people are benefiting from you and literally abusing you, but then you don't say anything about that fact, but you call out this others and you burn, like, well, I don't want to say those words, but like so many things. I've seen videos of horrific
mm,
things happening to those that are accused of doing certain things, right? So
mm,
like those, that difference is what people have an issue with. Like, yes, stand up for your country. Like, I don't see in Ethiopia, in Kenya, the countries you've named, in Zimbabwe, I don't see those white people having their own city and saying no black South Africans, no black Ethiopians, no black Kenyans can enter this specific area. Like, it's extreme to the point, like they're not even allowing specific people, specific by that I mean black people, to enter these areas or to lose on opportunities because of the color of their skin, even though that's their country. I feel like people have a right to be angry at that and look at the people that are allowing this to happen to them while still calling other Africans out. It's like, the bigger gap is the 80% of wealth that is being handled by the minority of like white South Africans.
mm.
Let's address that before we fight for crumbs, because I feel like the foreigners are taking crumbs, right? But the others are literally taking a big chunk of the wealth of the country. So that's what I think people have an issue with.
Okay. So you see, with that, I what I would say is that those are issues which also they speak about, and they will deal with that. Those are not xenophobic issues. Those are not issues which are xenophobic. Those are issues which they will deal with that, and they deal with that. And there's a lot of the black people have got rights as well, you understand, so they will deal with that. you know and I don't For me, I've lived in South Africa. I never experienced any racism from any white person. I never ever experienced any racism from the white community or from the colored community. The colored community, they are very friendly people, and they are colored, and it is okay to be colored. It is the way they identify them. So there's nothing wrong with being colored. I've got lots of colored friends, very friendly people, very nice people. So I'm surprised, and with racism and all that, some of these things, they can happen. I'm not saying they didn't happen, but they can happen. But I never experienced anything of that sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's off topic. Someone called Taito commented, Wengel, worry about Egypt bombing your dam. First of all, that dam is not going to be bombed. I don't know who you are. Okay. I don't know who you are trying to sneak in a conversation that has nothing to do about what we're talking about. But secondly,
Mm.
the dam that you're talking about is a dam that Ethiopians built with our own money, not borrowing, not taking, not the former colonial masters never built that for us. So I, I'm sorry, Taito, it's not gonna happen. But let's stay in the topic. Okay, we're talking about uniting Africans. Okay, if you're not part of that, take your behind somewhere else. Okay, continue, Eileen.
Yes, where we were. Anything else? So you see, the overall issue is that we need to understand of their perspective as well. We need to understand their point of view. We need to respect their decisions. We need to respect their decisions, and we need to respect, their way of living. You understand? And I feel when they raise concerns, we need to listen to those concerns and see. You see, the thing is, when people raise concerns, you need to work on that and ask, why are they raising concern? Then there's a problem here. Let's sort this problem out. If someone says, I don't like this, then stop doing what that person doesn't like. You understand? That way we will have togetherness. But if we keep doing what they don't like, then we create enmity within ourselves, and we create a barrier, which is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, that is one of the reasons why I don't focus on negativity. Like, if you've seen, I try to avoid these topics, but then as I'm growing older, and I would like to think a little bit wiser, I'm like, okay, if we don't talk about this difficult conversation or this negativity, even when you talk about that, there's a way of fixing it, there's a way of moving past it, there's a way of agreeing on certain things to disagree, but also educating each other on certain topics. Like, for example, you have the experience to back up what you're saying, although I do feel like, Eileen, you're a bit biased in a sense, like that's your experience, so you hold on to it and you're like, no, which I get to. As I said, I understand that, but it's very
I'm
hard to talk
not
about.
biased. I'm not
You
biased. I say it as it is.
are,
I
you are,
say
you know,
it as it is.
biased because of your experience. But now you see, Eileen, if someone watching you say that has been in South Africa and that has been discriminated against, that has faced hate, not because everyone in South Africa is that way, just because you need to meet that one person, or you need to meet that one good person on a bad day. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? There's always different stories and different experiences. They might feel like, no, that's not the truth, but that's their experience. That's why I'm saying you're biased because of your own experience. That's how you feel,
You
right? Okay,
know
you
what?
don't.
Wanga, let me tell you something. Let
Okay.
me tell you something. You know what? The most the thing that and the thing that people don't won't want me to touch, you know, and the topic they won't want me to touch or to talk about it. Let me tell you something. Do you know how many foreigners have made so much money in South Africa? They live a very luxurious life. You understand? And they're free, they're happy. So why would they complain and say that South Africans are xenophobic? If South Africans are xenophobic, would they have allowed those people to live there and do business? If they are xenophobic, if they hate people, would they have allowed foreigners to live like that? Foreigners, they live a free life in South Africa. Foreigners, they live a happy life in South Africa. They enjoy themselves. But when they do that, they abuse that freedom as well. They abused the freedom. You understand? It's like abusing the hand that feeds you, which is wrong. You need to mold it nicely and touch it nicely. This hand is feeding me. Mm? It's like, you know, I mean, I feel so bad because people live large in South Africa. Foreigners, they live a good life in South Africa. There's no country like that. I don't even think foreigners in America, they live that life, that the life that foreigners in South Africa live. They live a good life. They live a good life. You know, it's just that there are some certain issues, you know, social issues as well, which have you know, contributed to this. You know, there's also social issues. There's, you know, just things which have occurred and they escalated and they can be sorted out. You know, but South Africans are not bad people. I don't think you know, people, the way
That's
people demonize the country or the people. No, 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 they're very good people. They're very good people. Mm. There are no foreigners who sleep hungry in South Africa. I'm telling you, illegal or illegal, they sleep with food. They live luxurious lives. Huh? They live luxurious lives. Yeah. So you can
it.
say that's a bad country. It's not a
Yeah.
bad country. It's a good country. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I don't believe South Africa is a bad country, just to clarify, and I
It's a
don't
very
believe
good country. Yeah, it's a very good country. Very rich country. Very nice country.
the only thing I'm
Mm,
arguing against is that we can't blanket statement that, because there are other people that experience different things as well, is what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. But the
Mm,
reason why I love that you're talking about this is because you are bringing a different perspective to the conversation, right? We don't hear this conversation a lot because
mm.
the experiences we hear are not what you have experienced. That's what I'm trying to get at. But if you don't mind me asking, why did you finally decide to move or leave South Africa, or you still reside there?
Okay, another thing is that I lost my dad, you know, and I was coming for
I'm
the
sorry.
funeral. So there, yeah, and also there are so many things that family issues I have to sort out. And you know, it was just time because like now my mom, you know, my family, most of my sisters are busy and they're not able to take over my dad's businesses and everything. So I'm busy with that, you know, and my mom, she's old, she can't be running up and down. Yeah, I
I
lost my
understand.
dad, so I say, yeah, so I'm the
I'm
one who is in charge of the family's
I'm
businesses. Yeah,
sorry for your
yeah,
loss.
yeah.
But honestly, I hope South Africans can see this and be like, okay, thank you, Eileen, for
To all
sharing
my friends. Yeah,
that
yeah,
you've
because I mean, I feel so bad when people say this. I feel bad because they're very good people, you know, very nice people, friendly. They don't have a problem. They were just raising concerns and issues that they were not happy about, and social issues which they were not happy about. Yeah,
But
you
this,
know.
I think, can only be fixed by the government, in my
Yeah,
opinion, because the
yeah,
government,
it can.
is the one that is creating, I feel like, this problem, in my
Mm.
opinion.
And you know,
Mhm.
and also I don't think there's so many South African women who are married to foreign men. Many, many, many. Yeah. So I don't think if they were bad people, they could be getting married to foreigners.
Something I say. I think to unite Africa, we need to mix. Like everyone should just be traveling across. That's the greatest bond. You can create, and then now the kids growing up will be like, "Mommy is this, and Daddy is this," and at the end of the day, they will see
At
like
least you'll be a global citizen. You have two countries to go to on holidays. Yeah. Mm. So,
yeah.
I mean, myself, South Africa is my second home. I don't have any problem with the country. Yeah, it's just that I'm here now and I have to take care of my dad's businesses because my mom, she can't, and my family, they're very busy. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
understandable. But if
Mm.
if you would like to say anything to end this conversation, this controversial conversation, um, just yeah, feel free. Feel free.
Well, what I would like to say is that people should understand when issues raised and concerns, like if you're in a foreign country and you feel the citizens are raising issues and concerns, you need to pay attention to that and listen to what they're saying and listen to what they like and what they don't like, and ask yourself, what am I doing that is wrong? You understand? Because if you're not doing something that is wrong, then people are not going to complain. You understand? In any country you go, if people are not going to complain, people only complain because you're doing something that is not right. Okay. So like now I'm in Nairobi right now. And I know there's so many foreigners in the country, but we Kenyans, we're not going to complain. You know that because they don't do anything wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But I also know, like in the States as well, I hear these stories there. You understand? But you need to listen. Why are they complaining? Why are these people complaining? What are they not happy about? And then you, as an immigrant or a foreigner in the country that you are in, ask yourself, why are they complaining? What is it that I'm doing that is wrong? You get my point. When you start to put that into your mind, you will see if you're doing something wrong, then leave it. Because if you don't do something wrong, then people are not going to complain. Yeah. Mm. People are not going to complain. Yeah. Mm. But
Thank
if you
you.
do something wrong, definitely people will complain. You understand? If there's things start to change, there's all this scamming and drugs and all these things, then you need to sit down and say, whoa, people don't like it, then let me stop. Yeah. Mm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Eileen, for
Mm.
coming
Thanks
through
for
and for having
having
this.
me.
Honestly,
Mm.
I wish I was a little bit prepared because I didn't know this is what you're gonna talk about. But as I said, thank you for sharing your experience with us, and I would like everyone to defend one another like this, but I also
Mm.
want us to pull out. Okay, when we see something messy, something wrong, something that's
Yeah.
not gonna be
Mm.
helpful or is gonna take us to that level that we want to go to as a people, we should
Mm.
also have the gut to call each other out, right? Like not in I'm dragging you in front of others, but like, hey, my sister, my brother, this is not right. This is not the
Yeah.
right path. Let's fix this.
Mm.
Let's
Mm.
and I try my best to sugarcoat it like that, but unfortunately not all it doesn't work all the time when you're that way
Mm.
as well. People don't seem to respect that. They think it's weakness. But at the end of the day, we love wins. Love comes first. And
Love
the
comes first. Mm.
yes, the only way we can
You see,
unite is if we love one another for real, for real. So yeah.
it's true. So, because you know what, it's very sad that people can show you love and then you you give it back with hate. Like, let me give you an example of, I should have talked about it earlier, but I just want to give you like a certain example. There's this friend of mine. She is a South African, and
Okay.
she was. Let me tell you, her son was very okay, and he's okay. So then all of a sudden, the son is on drugs, and where is this drug coming from? So she spoke to one of the guys who's a foreign national, and she said to him that, yeah, we need to have a meeting, because you see, South Africa, the houses, like in the suburbs, it's not like Kenya. The way their houses are. Um, so he said to the guy that, I want us to have a conversation in this area, because I can see there's some guys who stand on the street corners and they're selling drugs to the students. You understand? I mean, big guys standing on the street corners and they're selling drugs, and we don't want this in this area. And then the guy, you know what he replied to that South African lady? He said, close your dog in your house. And he's a foreign national. He said, you have to keep your dog. Everybody must lock their dog in the house. And I was there with her. We were like, what? So she didn't take it well, and she was not having it. She said, excuse me, you telling me to lock my dog in the house if I don't want it to be sold for drugs? You know what we will do? We will clean up all those guys standing on the street corners selling drugs. And who are those guys selling drugs on the street corners? It's not South Africans. No, they're foreigners. So how do you explain that? Explain that to me. How do you explain that? Now we're talking about children who are they go to school, they're walking, so they must not walk on the streets. They must not be free in their country, because we've got each and every street corner, there's somebody selling drugs to the students. That's how it started. Hmm? That's how it started. So those are some of the things which we they raised a lot of concerns on that.
Yeah. No, anywhere in the world, we wouldn't want kids to be hooked on drugs. We wouldn't want, if you don't want
Such
that
things, yeah, yeah.
person to
And when they
you
raise
don't want
such
that.
concerns,
Yeah. But
and when
yeah.
they raise such concerns, when they
Yeah.
raise
With that
such
being said,
concerns,
though, we won't generalize and say like it's all foreigners that are doing that, or everything that has to do, drugs is going to be foreigners, because that's probably not the case, right? There's bad
not
people
all
in every.
foreigners do that.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm trying to clarify. So in every community, there are people like that, and we should all
mm,
stand up against that. It shouldn't just be South Africans; it should be everyone that should
mm. Yeah,
stand
it
against
should be
this.
everybody.
The government
Mm,
and the police, the people that are there to protect the people, should protect the people. So we agree on
mm,
that. That's not right. That is not
mm.
right.
That is
Um,
not right. So those are some of the issues which occurred, and all this now it was just too much. They said no, 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 no. That's why you see these are some of the things which make all that. Those are some of the issues which they raised, concerns which they raised, and all this and all this. You see, they're not good issues. You understand, when people stand on the street corners and start selling drugs to kids. I mean, and this was never there before. It was never there before. So those are just the concerns they've been raising, and then they are told that they are xenophobic. It's not fair.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I hear you,
yeah.
Eileen. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for coming through, Eileen. And if
Thank you for
anyone
having
wants to
me.
get to you or talk to you, or how do they reach you?
Mm. Well, you've got my email, you've got my telephone number, right? And my
No, I
email.
have your email, but would you like your email? Isn't that personal? Would you like your email to be shared? No, I thought you would have like a social media or something.
No, no, I'll be emailing you when we need to talk issues.
Okay.
You're the goddess. You're the goddess. You're the one who's handling this
Uh,
uh,
okay.
issue. So We will be
Yeah.
emailing you when we feel that no, we need to speak about this. We need to, share about this, and then yeah.
Thank you for
Mm,
coming through, Eileen. We
mm,
appreciate you. We appreciate. I appreciate this conversation. It's always good to hear a different perspective.
mm,
Your experience is yours, as I keep saying, and as I said earlier, my experience was also good. I can't come here and. But as I said
Bad
earlier as
mouth.
well, different people, different
Mm,
experiences. As of now, for me, it's just social media that shows me the hatred. And let's not forget, social media people can, that might not even be a
They
South
can
African
say anything.
that comment.
Mm,
You don't know that.
mm,
Uh, People
mm.
use it, like this powerful nations use it to um, get us,
Control.
turn to one another. We've seen that happen. Even in my own country, they would create fake accounts and they will start spamming and sending hate, and the other person will think, this person from this tribe said this to me, and they started a whole, conflict. So I understand that fact as well. So,
Mm.
bottom line is hate won't win. For all
Yeah,
of us,
that's good.
all of us,
Mm,
hate won't. And I think the only thing that will help us in this life is if we start seeing things from different perspective as well, and trying to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and trying to be understandable and respectful. So yeah, thank you, Eileen, for sharing this. I'm
mm.
pretty sure a
Thank
lot of
you for
people
having
might
me.
disagree with the things you said, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will appreciate you for standing up. So standing up for
No,
what you
I
believe.
always stand up for the truth. I say it as it is. I don't want to fabricate or sugarcoat anything. I say it as it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank
coming,
you
Eileen.
for having me. Thank you for your time. Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm
Thank
grateful. I'm grateful.
you.
I'm very grateful. Yeah.
And I am
Thanks so
happy,
much.
and I'm
Mm,
grateful as well for you coming this this way. Okay. So
mm.
everyone, thank you for coming through. Thank you for having a conversation with us and being involved in this and allowing Eileen to share her thoughts. I'll see you on the next one. Stay blessed. Bye.
Ciao. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everybody. East African time. Good
Baby.
night. Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, one girl. Thank you.